Hello everybody. I would like to talk to you today for today's Sunday discussion, something that is very important. Again, another very important topic, and I believe it's essential when we're dealing with today's world. But before I get into it, first I would like to tell you that I am going to be creating this new series. I'm not technically sure what it's going to be about or anything. I don't know the topic of it. And I need some help because, I've come up with a few things. Like one topic I wanted to put on the forefront of this series is, about, how Christian music is today and how it's different from Christian music in the past. But I'm not really sure, I don't have an idea yet in my head for what the videos I'm going to make for my series. So if you can comment any suggestions, I think I would like that. But it's okay if you don't, I understand, you might need some help finding a topic just like I do. But either way, I would like to talk to you today about something. Like I said, it's very important, and it's called the secular world mindset. And I'm not just going to be talking about the mindset of the secular world, but I'm also going to be talking about how we need to have a mindset, how to battle the secular world, how to, handle secular movies that, we watch, or how to discern the bad stuff, or how to abide in the doctrine of Christ, and while we're still, could see a secular movie or read a secular book. How to understand that what the secular world has been doing lately is very wrong, and it's not right at all. It's actually horrible, some of the things they've done lately. But before I get into this video, I would also like to ask you, what's a time where you could watch my live streams or my premieres that, I'll do. And I'm just asking, you because, I feel that it's important that I know, because, that way I can get some info about your thoughts on, when I should do these premieres. But for now, I'm just going to stick with 7 p.m. And you could comment down below any suggestions. Or when I do this premiere in the live chat, you could type up a little thing in the chat box, and you could type up anything that's important, stuff like that. So anything or the time that you think you could watch my live streams or my premieres that I'll do, because I'm not technically sure if I'm going to do a live stream. I'm not sure if everything is going to work. The camera, I need to maybe run some tests, stuff like that. So, yeah. Either way, I'll get right into this video. So, first, I wanted to talk a little bit about the secular world and how they've been like these days. So, yeah, we have the Hollywood industry. And as you know, they've been making some supposedly really good movies, and they might be really good, but it's sad that they have to put stuff in there that isn't really good. It's actually not good at all. Some of the jokes or scenes they put in there, they're completely unnecessary. They weren't needed for the film at all. But yet, when you're part of the secular world, if you ever become an actor like Leonardo DiCaprio is, for all we know, Leonardo DiCaprio could have, if he did, he could have started out as this Christian person who wanted to be a Christian actor. He wanted to, help people. He just felt like acting was very important to him. And when he became part of the secular world, He's now known as one of the notorious modern actors. He's very popular, and a lot of the time he's popular for doing inappropriate things in his movies. And it's sad that now he's become completely part of the secular world. And again, that has to do with the once saved, always saved thing. He could have been, they say he could have been saved, but at the same time, he got unsaved. But then that would mean he was never saved in the first place. That's if Leo was even a Christian. But, we pray for these Hollywood people that they would repent from the things that they are doing and that they would realize that Hollywood is not at all a good industry. And, it's sad that also a lot of Christian movies lately, they're very underrated. Like, nobody cares about them, and yet you get a movie that's like an R-rated, bloody, profane movie, and then it gets great reviews. It gets like 4 out of 4 on that site, or 8.7 out of 10 on IMDb, and yet it's like the worst movie of all time when you watch it. It's so terrible what Hollywood's been doing these days. And not just that, you've got the music industry. There's these songs these days, they make no sense. And then sometimes if you gotta be part of the secular world, once you're part of it, sometimes you gotta follow what they're doing. And then I know there's been some people who don't follow the secular world and are Christian, and if they did stand up for God, then they would be persecuted because you have a lot of atheists or people who aren't Christian out there, and they wouldn't be well liked. So it seems like there always seems to be these standards for Hollywood that you have to follow, or you have to abide by. If they're gonna do a scene that's inappropriate to you, you just gotta deal with it and do it. But if that were me, I would say no. This interferes with my belief in Christianity and my belief in God. It coincides with it in a negative way. So be careful when you're becoming part of these Hollywood industries or these music industries, which isn't even music. The music is so stupid these days. And so now I'm going to get into this video because I'm going to tell you the secular world mindset. So what the secular world thinks, they aren't Christian, the secular world. They think that, they're going to persuade actors to do these terrible things in movies. How the secular world thinks, just live however you want, have fun in life, don't be a Christian. That's their mindset. They don't believe in God, these people. They're terrible. The things that they do. And it's important that this is us as Christians, we can't fall into the secular world. We can't let them influence us. Because as I noticed, a lot of these kids have been playing violent video games, watching these inappropriate movies, and it's not fine to do that stuff, but if you have to watch a movie, like there's a lot of high schools out there who watch Good Will Hunting. That's one of the movies they watch. And it's said because that movie has over hundreds of F words are in that movie. I'm telling you, I haven't seen it, but I know because when I looked into that movie on Common Sense Media, you won't believe how much I saw. It was horrible, the things they had to put in that movie. They ruined what could have been a good movie. And yes, while it is a good movie, you have to discern this bad stuff. You have to say the bad stuff is wrong. The language they put in there was wrong. The F-bombs, they're all wrong. That's not abiding in the doctrine of Christ. What Matt Damon and what all those other actors did. And it's sad that people fall into the trap. You know, they start following Hollywood, and I'm telling you, Hollywood's not a good industry to get caught up in. Their movies aren't even Christian, and sometimes they even mock God. Do you want to stand with an industry that makes movies like that? For me, no. I'm not with Hollywood. I'm going to go with the Christian industries. That's if I get into the film industry. You know, there's other things I want to do with my life. And so either way, our mindset is when we're ever reading a secular book or watching secular movies, we have to combat this stuff. That should be our mindset, is to say, you know, let's forget about it. We understand it was wrong. That wasn't right. It's still a great movie. And then sometimes that's what I'll do. If I'll see certain movies and they put a few things in there that aren't terrible, but they can be pretty bad at times, I have to understand we need to handle these things. We can't constantly focus on these things in books or, you know, scenes in violent video games. And for some movies, I won't even watch them in the first place, because we have to be careful with what we're watching. Like, they came out with this new horror movie, and I admit I didn't want to give in to ungodly desires, but sometimes you feel like you want to. And it's no good, because I know they came out with this horror movie. I'm not going to tell you about it, but it was a horror movie. And at first it looked interesting to me, like an interesting story. And that's because the flesh takes over us. But I understood that it's a disturbing movie. B, it's rated R. I can't see it. It's not even appropriate for me. And C, what would Jesus do? That's what we always have to think before just choosing movies out of the blue like this. Because some movies that I've seen accidentally, I admit, I've seen some movies that are pretty bad, and I never knew what effect they had on my life. And some movies have actually disturbed me. They've bothered me. So we have to understand, we have to say, what would Jesus do? Would he watch a movie? Would he watch horror movies? For me, I'm saying no, he would not do that. That's giving in to ungodly desires. That stuff is bad for you. And if you are out there and you're watching horror movies, stay away from them. People get nightmares when they see horror movies. And in the horror movies these days, they're like the scariest things ever. And it's sad that there's people out here who actually like these movies. I'm surprised, because not all these movies are as good as they sound. And then not just movies, I'm talking about books too. We need to make the right decisions. We have to think about what we're actually watching, and, you know, is it going to affect me? Is it going to have a bad impact on my life, or is it not? So yeah, that's basically it for the video today. This video, I would like to see your suggestions for my series that I'm going to be doing. And I also, I have something to tell you, and it really shocked me. And I might make it into a video. I'm not technically sure about it, though. I'll ask somebody first, and, you know, I'll also ask people, you know, my relatives, I'll ask relatives who I know, people who I know, for any suggestions for videos. You know, if there's something that, you know, for the topic. So yeah, that's it for the video. And I really pray for these Hollywood people out there. They haven't been doing the right thing. I pray that they would get saved. And yeah, comment any suggestions for the videos. God bless you. Bye.